Okay, so today we're taking a look at the brand new product range for 2021 from Callaway with custom fit specialist Matt Judd. Okay, so we're here down at Callaway's European HQ and we're here today with Matt, who's the custom fit specialist here for Callaway. So, new product for 2021, Matt, so we're talking drivers.
Yep.
Epic is back.
It is, yes.
So talk to us, what's new with the new driver? So obviously last year we had Maverick, massively successful driver for Callaway.
Yep.
Performed amazingly well across the three heads, I think.
Yeah, I think it did, yeah. So what we're doing for 2021 is we're taking the Epic family and we're going to build on that success and that information we had from Epic Flash. Some of the technology from there has been looked at by the AI. We've got the supercomputer to have a look at it again and to reevaluate and to basically make it better than where it was. We're going to take that information, we're going to take some of the information we learned from Maverick, some tour feedback on how the product's performed, and introduce that into the Epic family for 21, and we've got 3 incredibly well-performing club heads coming out.
Okay, and you touched there on the artificial intelligence. So this is something that Callaway brought in 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
So that's been really influential in this generation again, has it?
It has, yeah. You know, like I said, the investment's there. So they're using that investment to be able to task the AI, task the supercomputer to actually look at other things now. So the computing power has been improved, been increased. So it's able now to look at more items, more lines for the 2021 product. And you give it the task, make it more forgiving, make it more powerful, make it longer, and it comes back with some really interesting stuff. So real variations of what we've seen before.
And then you guys have got to try and build it and actually make it a reality, right?
I think there is that sort of stepping stone between the computer design and then actually bringing it to life and bringing it to fruition. And the designers have done an excellent job of taking that base information that the computer spits out to us, putting it into the clubs that we see we're going to talk about.
Yeah, okay, so let's talk about the drivers that we've got this year. So do you want to run us through?
Yeah, so we're basically looking at Epic as a family of 3 this year. We're going to have Epic Speed, we're going to have Epic Max, and a new take on the Sub-Zero in the Epic Max LS, which is low spin. So we're going to have 3 drivers there. Again, the great thing about the clubs are, and I'm going to push what I do in terms of fitting, they are incredibly fittable golf clubs. Okay. You know, you're not just going to look and go, that player's going to go with that club head, that player's going to go with that club head. The choice between all 3 of them, you know, it really does boil down to being fitted correctly because they all have different jobs.
And that was something that we really saw in Maverick, wasn't it? It wasn't as obvious as the Max would be the higher handicapper and the Sub-Zero would be for the better player, because it actually, lots of different people were in lots of different heads, weren't
That's it. So many crossover we saw with the fitting potential with the Maverick line that has been evolved into the Epic line for next year. I think it's going to, as fitters or as consumers, the choice now is so great that you're going to be able to dial in the correct product for anyone that comes in to see you. And you as a consumer are going to get the right product for your game.
Okay, so let's talk about the specific tech within the drivers. And what's the key difference of technology that we've got in the new Epic range?
So I finally grabbed this here then. The first thing that really stands out for us is that we've modified and improved the Jailbreak technology that we've had. Now, Jailbreak, incredibly successful. The 2 bars that joined the crown and the sole of the golf club together, which basically stopped it from being forced apart at impact, meaning the energy is kept in the hitting area, and that energy is pushed back into the hitting area, so you generate more power potential. And the supercomputer looked at that and went, right, well, that was good. How do we improve on that? Now, couple that with other improvements, the use of material, the use of carbon fiber, which we'll talk about here, you'll see that rather than just having the 2 bars now, we've actually moved into a frame design. So not as easy to see, but you've now got connection points top and bottom, but also left and right. And it really stops the head from being forced apart at impact. So the energy is not wasted on that movement up and down, but also they call it torsional stability. So it really wants to stay stable now. So any kind of off-center strikes, the head won't want to twist or turn as much, which again means that the unwanted strike, if you like, doesn't lose you energy.
So in terms of converting that into what a golfer will see, the average golfer, what difference is that going to this technology going to? I mean, looking at it, it's distinctly different, isn't it, from the from the jailbreak that we've seen previously?
So there's a lot going on under the bonnet with this club head, and what the golfers are going to see is more energy, so more ball speed potential, not just on the centre strike. But again, you know, we're all golfers. We don't necessarily hit the middle of the club face.
What is the middle of the club face?
so somewhere. But the benefit of this is that sweet zone is so increased over here. So, you know, whether you hit it high or low or heel or toe, the energy transfer you will get, which traditionally would have been quite low, you'd have lost ball speed, you'd have lost energy, you'd have lost distance. You won't see that as much now. You know, so I'm not advocating off the toe or, you know, don't hit the middle. If you hit the middle, you're going to get the best out of it. But if you don't quite hit the centre, you won't see that loss in distance. And the same with spin as well. It's a lot more of a spin control club head. Right. And you know, if you get too much spin, you lose distance. The ball will turn more if you have any kind of side movement on it. So by being able to control that spin rate as well, your off-centre strike, your slightly open, slightly closed club face strike won't be as bad down the fairway. And
so we've obviously talked about the jailbreak. What about the face? Because I know the faces were a big thing in the last two drivers that were designed with artificial intelligence. The flash face that we saw, which was a really unique design, especially when you looked inside and you looked at the back of the face. It was just a really strange looking thing. But the performance was there to be seen.
Absolutely. And again, you know, you're looking at evolvement, you know, evolution of that face design. So flash face 21, you know, again, supercomputers looked at it. It's not as easy to see with these, but you have the ridges, you have the rises, the troughs. So the computers looked at where players strike the ball. You know, you've fed that information in there, and it's gone, right, well, actually, if that's where the miss is, let's make sure we can maximise the energy transfer there. So all the three club heads, from Speed to Max LS, all have slightly different faces. You know, it's all behind the scenes, slightly different faces to maximise the ball strike, kind of regardless of where a player strikes it. And also, not just between the three heads, but also through the lofts as well. So a 9 degree, you have a slightly different face design to a 10.5 to a 12. Again, we're really able to dial in that player type to get the best out of the club for them.
Okay. And what are the other distinctive improvements with these products?
So we're looking at 3 different club heads here, and I'll start with Speed. Speed would be our one that you would say will act what we name at most golfers, most handicaps. Now, it's kind of blended a little bit, whereas most handicappers will probably be able to go for all 3 of them if they get fitted properly. But Speed would be our main one, and again, we're really working here on shape. Like we first saw with Maverick, you have a very distinctive shape that makes it more aerodynamic. So it travels through the air faster, therefore you can generate a bit more club head speed.
And that was the shape that we first saw on the standard Maverick head last year.
That's it, yes. You have a slightly taller face, but it really kind of shallows away quite quickly just to make it really more aerodynamic. Visually as well, for me, it looks like a really nice footprint behind the ball. But again, under the bonnet, the technology is there to just increase your club head speed, couple that with the face design, just maximise your distance potential.
Okay.
Max, we're going along the maximum forgiveness route. You know, it's a 460 club head, sort of stretch shape, allowing us to position the mass where it's more needed for a player. Low, deep, help with the launch characteristics, but help with the forgiveness levels. And again, because we're utilising, and we've sort of highlighted it in the white section there, we're introducing, or we're utilising carbon fibre on the sole as well as on the crown, and that allows us then to save weight.
Okay.
And with that weight saving, we can reposition that. So we're able then to reintroduce the sliding rail, which means you can then fine tune shot shaping.
Because that's something we saw on Epic Flash, isn't it? But wasn't on Maverick.
Not on Maverick, no. When you can utilise carbon fibre, you can utilise the weight saving that material gives us, you're able to reintroduce it without affecting other aspects of it. Maveric's a great product, but by putting in a sliding rail, you need to save some weight somewhere else. And carbon fibre means we can put that in there without affecting the centre of gravity, in effect allowing us to tweak the centre of gravity more efficiently.
And I mean, it's a much bigger footprint, isn't it, than the speed?
It is. So it's going to, again, just purely on visual aspect there, it will give a player a lot more confidence when it's down behind the ball.
Yeah, I think on looking at it, it definitely will, you know, you'll put that behind the ball and you'll be super confident about smashing it down the middle of the fairway.
And then when you think about what's underneath it as well, you think, right, this is going to go down there. And that brings us quite nicely onto the third drive, which is the Max LS. And it's kind of a new thought process for us, because traditionally when we went low spin, your Sub-Zeros, your traditional better players golf clubs, they were usually smaller footprints, smaller, lower MOI, so less forgiving. And one of the feedbacks we received from the tour last year was quite a few of the players looked at a Max as a club head to put into play, because it gave them forgiveness levels. And you don't always think about that when you talk about the best players in the world, you know, but even those guys, they want to get the best out of their strike, and if they don't quite catch it, you know, they don't want to be losing 20, 30 yards. So we've taken that knowledge and we've taken that technology, and we've introduced the Max LS. So we've got the larger 460 club head, forgiveness, ease of use, but we're able to still retain the low spin elements, meaning the higher, stronger club head speed players who generate a little bit too much spin, they'll still see the club head able to control that spin for them.
Right.
Okay. Because we're using carbon fibre, we're also able to introduce a sliding weight into that, which again allows us to really fine-tune the shot shape, even for the better players.
Right. I mean, it's a really interesting point, isn't it? That, I mean, I heard that about the Maverick last year, that a lot of the tour players did favour that Max head, which is quite unusual, isn't it?
It is, and it's one of those things where, you know, you get the product range and you're thinking, right, well, that's going to be for the better player, right? We don't really need to worry about anything else. And then you start to see them put it into action. You start to see them testing with it, and you get the feedback from them that, well, actually, yeah, I love the low spin of it, but I do lose a little bit if I don't quite get it out of the centre. Yeah. Switching it to the Maverick Max for 2020 this season, they were able to generate that ease of use, that ball speed, even if they didn't quite catch it. So of course that then filters down into the next iterations of the product. So Epic Max LS is going to be a really strong performer for us, both on tour, but for not just for better players at fitting, also your game enjoyers that maybe generate too much spin, but don't quite have that centeredness of strike. So it's going to give us another option when we're fitting.
So I think, generally these are just going to give the golfer a much more forgiving golf club, something that's going to give them more ball speed, and hit more fairways.
That's it. So it's about energy transfer. It's about ball speed, distance, but also being able to hit that stuff that the greenkeepers cut down nice and short for us.
Because that's important, and that makes, you know, we all want to hit more fairways. It changes the game if you hit more fairways, and if you hit a little bit further than you're hitting short right in, then you're going to enjoy your golf more, aren't you?
That's it. Suddenly the game gets a little bit easier.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And in terms of the range then, so how does this fit in with, because Maverick stays, and how does this fit in with that Maverick line? So,
you know, Maverick is still an incredibly strong performer. And so for those guys that, you know, they're looking at a new driver, they don't necessarily want to maybe top end price point. They want to look at something maybe just a little bit lower. Maverick still gives you excellent ball speed potential, really strong forgiveness levels, and a really good performer for that sort of non-carbon, that less carbon sort of price point.
Brilliant. Well, look, it's been fascinating looking at this product for 2021. I think it's going to be hugely successful. It's been really interesting looking at it, and especially looking at some of these parts. It's always interesting to see some of the tech that goes in, because generally you don't get to see this stuff behind when the clubs are taken.
Visible technology is great, but it's the stuff that's inside that you really want to be able to understand.
No, it's been really fascinating. So thanks so much for your time, Matt. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you want to try the new Callaway products, make sure you contact us below. You can go to one of our professional shops, arrange a fit-in, get yourself booked in, and go and try this product out for yourself. I'm sure you'll get some really good benefits and some really good gains from trying this product. Hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll speak to you again soon.